The following is an encore presentation of stories from the Dooralong Transformation Centre.
Today we've got Darren. So Darren, introduce yourself. Tell people who you are.
Darren Long from Raymond Terrace.
Originally born in Raymond Terrace?
No, born at Newcastle Hospital.
Oh, okay, well, that's not too far away.
Not too far, yeah, on the coast.
I know where that is. My two were born there as well, Newcastle. So Darren, before we get into how you came to Dooralong, what did you actually do as a young tyke? Did you have a job? Did you go to high school? Did you finish high school? Did you get to uni? Give us some background first.
Yeah, I got me a Year 10 high school certificate, and not long after that got into the cement rendering. I used to do a bit of spray painting and powder coating. I was a foreman at a wet and dry powder coating company at Heatherbrae. Just sort of a bit of an all-rounder. Got into the scaffolding with one of my good mates. And
how old were you when you got into that? How old were you when you were working as a scaffolder?
All up until probably 10 years ago.
Right, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
So, young age.
Okay. So you were well cemented in the work, everything fine. Come from a good family life, home life? Yeah. Okay. And then we hit a bit of problem. We hit a snag in the road.
Yeah.
So all right, take us down that rabbit hole and let's see what happened. Because I mean, not everybody's born, a drug addict or an alcoholic or this and that. They were born something. They became that. So how did you get to where you got to?
Well, I used to always have a drink, being a concrete renderer and that, we all drunk and smoked marijuana. That went all right for years, until this ice came out. And then one day I found myself, my partner was sick of me abusing myself, just laying around drinking and smoking pot. So she gave me the ultimative, either pull your socks up or get out. So I decided to shift out on my own and rented a 2-storey house out down in Raymond Terrace, which was a bad move. It was straight across from the pub. So I used to run a bit of a muck over there. And one day I was on the top veranda at home and having a drink, smoke a pot, and started smoking the ice pipe. And it led me to jump off the veranda. The police come to arrest me for something silly I'd done in my car, and I ended up jumping off the veranda, and I was going to land on the cop car roof, but missed the roof and landed straight beside the cop car on 2 feet and broke both ankles, heels, and just shocking. It's the devil's drug, that ice.
Oh yeah, it is definitely an epidemic at the moment and really running rampant, and it's causing some massive destruction. So I want to take a step back, because something I used to talk to my youth back in my youth pastor days was that there are doorways. That if you walk through one door, you're always going to be presented with another one. Yes. And you can replace the word choices for doorways. So you started off a few drinks down at the pub with the mates after work, which a lot of tradies do.
Yeah.
A lot of business people do. It's not a tradie thing, but a lot of business people do. Work is over, before you head home, stop off, have one or two with your mates, whatnot, and then head on home. Now, it progressed from there. Well, I'm not saying that that's a drug, but alcohol does have its addictive properties.
Yes.
And it's a big argument in church. Should you or shouldn't you? And that's not one we're going to take up today, folks. So, calm down. Because some people really get up on that. Well, why shouldn't we? It doesn't bother me. And that's not what's on the plate today. Yeah. It's just at that pub you were introduced to marijuana, you started smoking a bit. Yeah. I want to pick it up there because that's a door. Okay. That's your first doorway. You smoke that, the devil's always going to present you with the next thing. Okay, well, you're into that. How about this? Now, some people are like, well, this is all I want to do. I don't want to go to the next door. But, you could have one of those off days where you just had a bad day.
Yeah.
And you had a few more than you normally would. Then you tossed it back with some marijuana. Now you're not sober-minded, and then here it comes again, presented to you, and you think, well, why not? Who cares? It's been a bad day. I'll go for it. And that's the second doorway.
Yes.
You know what I mean? But that doorway, ice, that's a lethal one. So you had ice. Yep. You jumped off, you did a Lego move off the top balcony. Yeah. Were you aiming for the cop car? Were
Yeah.
you intentionally aiming for the cop car?
Yeah, I meant to land on the roof to take a bit of the impact, but that didn't come to plan.
So was it moving or was it stationary?
No, it was stationary.
It was stationary,
Yeah.
and you still missed it. How
I
far
still
up were
missed
you?
Just over 6 metres.
6 meters.
Yeah,
And you missed it.
I missed it.
Wow. Now, see what ice does to you? It affects your aim and everything else.
Definitely.
All right, so you hit the concrete. You broke 2 ankles. You already had legal problems, so they were there
Yes.
to arrest you.
Yeah.
Okay, so you ended up in jail. What happened after?
No, I actually didn't end up in jail.
Didn't end up?
I booked myself into rehab thanks to a good mate and his father. which
He
is a
talked
good
some
mate
sense
of
into you,
mine.
did he?
Definitely.
Yeah.
I got to the stage on ice where I'd done something very silly and wasn't in the right frame of mind, and I went and pitched a pound off a good friend of mine, and ended up going back to my friend's place and admitting that I'd done wrong and to pay the money, and they turned around and said to me, look, take the money and go and put yourself into Dooralong. So with that's what I'd done. I knew I needed help and I wasn't in the right frame of my mind, so yeah, I made the call.
Okay, so at that point, before you went to Dooralong, how long had you actually been using ice?
Probably 2 years on and off, just
2 years
smoking
on and off.
it.
Right, okay.
I got introduced to it because I went to my dealer to buy some pot one day, and he said he hasn't got any, but he had ice. And I said, oh, no, I don't want that, because I actually thought you had to shoot it up and use needles. But then I found out you could smoke it. So I thought, oh, yeah, I'll have a smoke of it. And didn't think nothing of it. And then, yeah, it just grabbed me.
Took hold of you.
Yeah.
You hear that often. Some people are like, I just had one hit. I have a friend, actually. She said, I wasn't into that sort of thing. I was out of the club once and just thought, I'm going to try it once. And she disappeared for 6 years.
Yeah,
Just
wow.
one hit, gone. 6 years of her life down the tubes. So, it's very addictive, more powerful than heroin. And we have, in the States, it's just like when cocaine first hit the U.S., it just ran rampant. But and I was living in the States at that time, and I did see that, but I've never seen anything like the addictive properties that ice has to it.
No, it's definitely the devil's drug.
It definitely is. You've gone and talked to some mates. They've talked some sense into you. You've checked into Dooralong.
Yep.
And tell us about your experience at Dooralong.
Experience at Dooralong's been wonderful, actually. I hear people when they go through the gates, they're quite nervous and scared whether they can do the program or they want to go back and use. But to me, it was like going through the gates of heaven. It was a big weight off my shoulders. I was like, yes, I finally made it.
Yeah.
So.
And this is your first stint at rehab?
Yes, first stint ever at rehab.
Was it what you expected?
No, I thought it'd actually be worse. Yeah, but it was quite good. I'd done it pretty hard the first week. I thought, how can I stay in here with all these people? There's 150 addicts, and half of them are like fried ducks, I thought. And when I look back at it, I was like that myself.
Yeah.
So I was in the right place, I guess.
Yeah. Did you know it was Christian based when you went in?
Yeah, I did.
You did?
I did, yeah.
Okay. Had you had any experiences in the Christian realm beforehand?
No, not at all. No.
Ah.
I think that was half my problem.
No wonder you were scared. Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So you settled in for Dooralong. How long have you been there?
I've been there 6 months now. Just
6
over
months
6
now.
months, yeah.
6 months. And so, I wouldn't have any idea what the withdrawal symptoms would be like. Now, I've had 4 uncles who were addicted to various things, so I have seen it, but I wouldn't have a clue of what you were going through. But being in a place that is Christian based, and not knowing too much Christianity, but then having those withdrawal symptoms hit, can you tell us what sort of things actually helped out? I mean, I guess I'm wondering, did prayer help? Did praise and worship help soothe it? Was it the cuddles that you got from people, or was it just a conversation? What actually impacted you?
It was actually the conversations of other people, that what they've been through, and yeah, I went through really bad nightmares and sweats and everything, and I remember waking up one morning to one of my roommates there, which is Christian based and has been studying it for a long time. And I yelled out his name, David, and he come bolting down the stairs and said, "Yeah, mate, it's all right." And I thought, "Oh wow, thank God for that. It was just a dream."
Yeah.
You know, and and some of the prayers and that, I suppose, made me realise we have all got a higher power, and you know, so
Yeah.
all that helped. Yeah.
So have you come to know Christ yet?
Yeah, I'm getting a lot better understanding of him. Yeah, definitely. The way I looked at it, I thought, well, I sort of had trouble getting my head around it, and then I was sitting there one day in chapel, and I thought, wow, if there's 150 addicts sitting in the one room, there must be someone looking down on us, because, you know, if it was any other place, you'd kill each other. They'd set the place on fire.
Yeah.
And it was just amazing that...
So let's spread that out. Let's give the amplified version. If there's 150 addicts sitting in a chapel listening to some bloke up here talking about the Word of God, there's got to be a higher power to keep us all here. That's definitely, yes.
Definitely,
Because the things that are itching to your skin at the moment, and the cravings and the memories, they don't go away straight away.
No.
It takes some time to replace those with other things.
Yeah, it does. It took about 3 months for me to sort of settle into the program and get on with what I was doing normally, and having a clear thinking about it. Yeah.
Can you remember when that first hit you, that moment of clarity, like, I'm free?
Yeah, it was about 3 months after I was into the program. I used to get quite cranky when I was in there, and then one day I just let it all go. You know, I had no resentments of anyone or anything, and things just fell into place, and group meetings and everything were a lot easier. I found it easier to talk about my problems and that, and being near for other people and give them advice.
Very important to talk about it. People underestimate that.
Definitely.
Unless you shed light on that thing, unless you let it out of that darkness, it's not going to get healed. I mean, I heard a word that, a statement of, whatever you hide or whatever you keep in the dark, the devil has a right to traffic in.
Yes.
And he's very good at bringing up memories, thoughts, judgmental things. Doubt's his number one weapon. Well, no, it's not. Suggestion is his number one weapon. And he bombards with them 24/7. So being inside a Christian-based rehab center has its benefits. Number one, the atmosphere is completely different.
Definitely.
I think you would know that by now. You probably may have sensed something different about the place when you walked in, but they may have given you other thoughts of what it might have been. But now you can look back and see what that was. That air in there is different.
It definitely is.
And it does affect.
Makes your hair stand on end.
Yes, I've had some moments there.
Yeah.
So you've been 6 months in.
Yep.
Okay. And you're at that stage to where you're starting to look towards exiting, aren't you?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, good. Let's cut to a song and we'll come back and we'll hear your plans as to what's going to happen, because obviously you're going to be in God's hands when you walk out that joint.
Yeah,
you're in His hands now, but you know what I mean?
hands.
You got a good support network, but when you walk out there, it's now you and Him. You know what I mean? And, you know, you've got to stand up and be real and say, okay, look, thank you for the support. Where to next? We're in here with Darren from Dooralong, as we normally do on a Wednesday. We speak to someone who's experiencing a life-changing, course-correcting event. And God is right in the middle of it, as we've been hearing. So you're done with Dooralong. Well, not done. You're on the tail end. You're looking at the exiting side of it.
Yes.
So how long you got to go before you actually need to transition to the exiting program, or are you already in it?
I'm actually already in it on Friday. I'll walk out.
On Friday.
Yeah.
Woo!
I come back for graduation when they the next week after or something. Yeah.
Right. Do they have an actual ceremony?
Yeah.
I
they
didn't
have
know.
a ceremony of a Wednesday night on chapel night, and issue with a certificate, and you say a speech of how your journey was and everything. And
excellent.
How you going? Yeah.
A cake, coffee, maybe.
Yeah,
donut,
coffee, cake,
sandwiches,
baked dinner.
Good.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, they do all that there. So.
Is it an open invitation for?
Yeah, open invitation for anyone. Yeah.
And I'm in for the baked dinner.
Yeah, that's
anyone
standard,
can go,
is it? Yeah,
right.
$5.
Wait a minute. Hang on. Wait a minute. You have to pay $5?
No, just any other person that's from the outside.
Oh, you meant me?
Yeah, you'd have to pay $5, but I could shout you that, mate.
Oh, well, hey, look, I'm not complaining about the $5, but since you offered. I'm just kidding. So, all right, so you exit on Friday.
Yep.
What happens?
Got a beautiful partner, Kylie, to go to them. 3 sons, Tyrone, Jake and Ethan.
Beautiful.
which will look after me. And yeah, I've got a good mate, Jason Glenn, which I'm going to go and he's actually a renderer by trade as well. He's got some work for me, some painting and that. And
Excellent.
Kylie's brother's an earth mover. He's got a bit of work for me, so with the two of them, it should keep me out of trouble and keep me busy. Yeah.
Excellent. So you're more fortunate than most. You've got a family that you can go back to, that are welcoming you in with open arms, and you've got mates that have businesses that can offer you work as well.
Yeah.
God has really looked after you, hasn't He?
He has.
That's
I'm
awesome.
very lucky.
Right. So in the course of that, you head out, you in with the family, you've got the job. Are there any follow-up things that you can do or need to do as far as Dooralong? I mean, are there meetings you need to go back? I mean, I'm only working off the AA system. Like every now and then, if you had a problem, you go to a meeting. You have an accountability partner. What do you have on the exiting side of the Dooralong program?
My plan is to once a fortnight go back to Dooralong for chapel night and listen to other people and let them know how I'm going, as well as twice a week I'm going to go to AA meetings, one in my hometown at Raymond Terrace and one at Medowie, just to remind me I've always got this addiction and to talk about it.
Right, yeah. So it's nice that you're going back to Dooralong and doing some talking, you know what I mean, being offering a mentor, some sort of mentorship. It's great when past participants come back and speak, because it's proof.
It is.
And it's encouraging when you speak and you tell your story that other people can sometimes find themselves in your story.
Yes, that's right.
It's testimony is a powerful thing. I've heard people who don't like to tell their story. I don't want other people to involve them in their stories. And I'm like, you know what? I'm sorry. Jesus left His story for us as a book to follow, and I'm sure He didn't hold out because He knew it was powerful. He knew it would touch. He also told other people's stories, because they do. People find themselves, and a lot of people think that I'm the only one going through this. How could you possibly know? Well, someone out there is going through it as well, or has gone through it, and if they don't tell their story, how will that person know? And we need to, which is why we have this segment. We want people to hear it. We want people to know, because problems are very real out there.
That's right.
And they are gritty, and sometimes they're not pretty. But God's a big God, and He can conquer a lot of things, all things really, once you yield yourself to His power, which you did by entering into Dooralong. So you exit, you're going home. You got to be happy about that. You got employment. Not so happy about that, but anyway, you got employment, and I'm sure you'll look forward to going back to those meetings every couple of weeks and speaking and whatnot. I'm sure there's some sort of flame lit inside you, and you won't have a problem. You'll want to actually share and that desire to help.
Definitely, I always thought I was my story was the worst one, but when you hear other people's, I've got nothing on them. I'm very lucky. I still can walk and got 2 arms and legs and a heartbeat. There's people who lost their lives through those addictions that don't get a chance. So.
You got a very good voice for radio. You should consider that for a career.
Yeah.
You should consider that.
I could do that. Just
I think
sitting back here drinking coffee and having a yarn.
Well, I don't have my coffee, but it should be here. But I totally agree with you. We need to speak to management.
Yeah, we're going to have to do something.
Yes. My guest today has been Darren from Dooralong. Thank you for coming in and sharing with us.
Thank you.
Appreciate that. And I really, really, really hope you do well. And I really hope you share your testimony often.
Definitely will.
I do. Excellent.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You've been listening to an encore presentation of the Dooralong stories, which can be heard live every Wednesday at 10 a.m. and repeated 8 p.m. Sunday and 1 a.m. Wednesday, right here on 94.9 rema.cc.